drum heads. We got it. All right.
Nice.
You got the DBW drum head from the last parade. You got my old Gargantua Soul, my 90s band, G Soul at Impact. I got some famous cartoon artist did that. I forgot his name, but he's awesome. He like did a bunch of cartoons, like, and then Dead by Wednesday first debut album. Democracy is Dead on Stillborn Records, Jamie Joss's label from Hatebreed. This is Darkest of Angels Head. That's the Dead by Wednesday, the guest vocalist album with all these incredible singers that we had on with us. That's the Altitudes, and I can't really see it. Altitudes and Attitudes. That's Frankie Bello and David Ellison's band that I played drums in for a little while with Bumblefoot.
Okay.
And there's the Ellison front drum head that we used for when I jammed with David Ellison, and Dave Sharp from DBW also play guitar. Killing Project, one of my favorite bands, Kiss. You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest band in the world. And then for my one tour that I did with the Bullet Boys, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
My drum head, Halloween, Season of the Witch, man. That's the best. Everyone hates it. It's the best Halloween flick there is.
Right.
We got Megadeth, Kiss records on the wall, Metallica, Black Sabbath, DBW, all these different albums. So this is the whole. It's Dead by Wednesday. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the whole band room. Combat Records, Combat, Ellison, drum set. This is the whole band room. I turned this garage into a basically a small venue.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know, it's pretty dope. You see it here first.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I like it.
Anyway, so Black Sabbath. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, got the Mark Rizzo.
Nice.
Rizzo. All right, we'll start. You don't have to use it all, but I figure we'll start the interview, and you could use some of those clips if you want or whatever. I'll turn it back around and get serious.
Oh, you're good, man.
To show you that, you know, it's pretty cool. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's a cool little insight. Life inside of, you know.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, normally I already had started recording. So normally like I do, you know, we just kind of do our introductions or whatever, but I'm Matt with Let's Talk Music and you are Opus, correct?
I am Opus, the one and only. Yes. Well, maybe there's probably other people named Opus out there, but you know, that's me.
Right. So Hail the Horns, man. Tell me a little bit about how that came about, man. Because I'm looking here. We got El Nino, we got Static X, we got Fear Factory, Soulfly, Dead by Wednesday. I mean, that's like if you know the father of rock or metal and the mother of metal got together and had like a little demon baby.
Demon baby, yeah. Well, it actually started off as just like a fun thing to do during the pandemic. So we were like, you know, we're all friends, and we know like so. Basically, I've known Mark Rizzo for a long time. He was in El Nino, and then he left and played in Soulfly. Mm-hmm. And then from Soulfly went back to El Nino. But in the beginning, before he did Soulfly, when he was in El Nino, he's always been a New Jersey cat, and I'm from Connecticut. So we always knew of each other from the same kind of area, even though it's far away. It's still like the tri-state area. And the scene is small once you're in it for the metal stuff.
Right.
And so he was transitioning from El Nino to Soulfly, and he played for a short period with Roger of El Nino in a band called Cortez. And Cortez was managed by Jamie Josta of Hatebreed. And it was like similar to what El Nino is, and like Puya and a lot of these, like, it's like Latin, Latino metal kind of fusion thing. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool. And I ended up playing drums for it for a little while in the late 90s and or early 2000s. I'm not really sure. I lose track of time. But anyway, so it made one little demo with Zeus, never really went anywhere. it just fell apart. And it was like members of my old band Gargantua Soul in the 90s, and then guys from El Nino. And we got together and did this project. And I joined because I wanted to play with Mark Rizzo. He was a nasty guitar player,
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I joined, he's like, well, I got the gig with Soulfly, so I got to go. And I was just like, oh, that sucks, So I played with him for a while, but it just didn't work out. It wasn't the same without Mark. Kind of imploded, and whatever. So I moved on and started doing Dead by Wednesday, and I'm still doing Dead by Wednesday. We actually have a new album coming out June 24th, but then we started doing. Mark and I were always jamming. So he would like in between tours with Soulfly, he would call me and be like, "Hey, I need a drummer for my solo project. I just want to do some covers, have some fun, shred, and here's some stuff that I wrote." So I would learn it, and I would play, and we would have some fun, play some covers, make a little money, and in between tours. And so we stayed in touch, and we were friends, and we did that a few times. And then it just kind of from there, I started helping him out with his some of his solo career, like solo shred stuff, where he was trying to promote it and stuff. So we just started becoming more involved business wise with like some of his own stuff. And so he's like, one day he's like, "Hey man," during the pandemic, he's like, I have a buddy of mine who played with me in Soulfly, Tony Campos. And I'm like, yeah, of course I know who Tony Campos is. He plays in Static X now. He's also in Fear Factory, and he's been in every metal band there is, every plethora, Prong and Ministry. So he's like, "Yo, let's do a less is more type of thing, like a trio where all of us sing or scream or whatever we do. It's less on touring as far as like travel, gear, even hotels, everything, even a money split for everything."
Right.
To be quite honest, and just make the best of it, and just do a bunch of model it after like Metal Allegiance, and do a bunch of like classic metal covers that we all love and that influence us to want to play in bands. And then if we write original stuff and it kind of melds and gels, cool. And I'm like, Mark's telling me, like, he's like, "Oh yeah, with Tony." I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." Cause me, I'm sort of like the low guy on a totem pole in a sense. I mean, I could talk a big game, but as far as my career, I've had a lot of, roller coaster rides up and down, and it is what it is. And I'm just happy to be doing what I do, and privileged to play with a bunch of great guys in all my projects and everything that I've ever done. I mean, for a while, for 5 years, I played with David Ellison, and I still do on and off, if he needs me. So I'm a hired gun, as well as in these bands, but mainly I do this stuff for all like the smaller projects for like fun, because, it's about the music. And if it's not, then I don't know why anyone is in this business or doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Hail the Horn started as fun, and it's just trading music files back and forth from the West Coast to the East Coast, because Tony was on the West Coast and we were on the East Coast, me and Rizzo, and we were able to get together and do some like demo work and actually work on things together, me and Mark, and then record them a little bit, demo them, send them to Tony. Tony would like put the bass on it, some vocal ideas, because we all sing, but we really like Tony's vocals. Like Tony has like the perfect kind of head feel, crowbar, downish kind of vibe. And so we really like that, because it's not a lot of people are doing that right now.
Right.
It's like it's all either high power metal or screaming, which I like too, but it's what I mean. Like that in between like voice where it's like almost screaming, but not like head feel, not really screaming, but metal.
Right.
And so that's kind of how it happened, man. We just through that, and then we got together when we could. When it started slowing down, the pandemic, we're like, well, we have something here, so let's get together and jam. And so Tony flew out, because that was the easiest way for the first set of shows. I was able to kind of throw something together, book some cool gigs around here on the Northeast, because I've done that for a long time and been in the business around here for a long time. So, and I had backline here, as you could see from the video earlier. So basically, he flew out. He had everything to play on. And we just went from there. We wrote a bunch of stuff. We recorded it. Joey Concepcion, who's playing with Dark Tranquility right now on guitar, filling in. He's one of my good friends, and he helped us demo some stuff with his gear here. He wasn't in, he didn't record it, but he just kind of helped us produce it in a sense. And then Nikki Belmore mixed it, the drummer from Dee Snider solo band, who I also use for Dead by Wednesday, Dexter's Lab Music Studios in Milford, Connecticut. It's a great studio. Dee Snider records there, Josta from Hatebreed, Toxic Holocaust, Kings and Liars. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There, Cannibal dude, Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse records there. So it's like a really cool place in Connecticut. And they mixed the Hail the Horns song, the new one that we just put out, the original self-titled song, Hail the Horns.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how it happened. And so now we're just going with it, and seeing what happens from here. They have open dates in between their tours. The Static X tour is coming up, and the El Nino tour's constantly happening like a freight train. So in between, we try to find time that we are all free, and we just do this kind of thing, side thing for fun. And if it turns into something fruitful, cool, but there's no expectations. We still do a lot of covers. We have a few originals right now. And we're excited to get back together again and do that West Coast tour coming up. We're going out for NAMM in like a week or two or something. And we're doing a West Coast tour the first week of June. Around Tony's area, which we haven't done yet. So this is exciting, all new territory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me some, what's some of the favorite covers you guys did?
Well, me personally, God of Thunder from Kiss. But we do Creeping Death really well from Metallica. Mm-hmm. We'll do Mandatory Suicide from Slayer, really cool. We actually do oh God, burn out the day, burn out the night. There ain't no reason to put up a fight. Oh, I actually sing it from the drums. It's pretty cool. Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Burning for You.
Yep.
Yeah. We do that. And so I don't know, I like them all, man. Like we do, we kind of make them all sort of our own, because we're not going to sound like, when we do, but we actually, that's not the only thing. We don't just do metal classics. I forgot to leave out. We actually do some of these the songs from the bands that we're in. So like I'm associated with David Ellison, so we do Peace Sells from Megadeth. Mm-hmm. We do some Soulfly, that even stuff that Mark wrote, no one really knows because he gets all the credit, Max, but Mark says, hey man, I basically wrote all those riffs on Frontlines. I'm just going to cover it. So we do Frontlines because he was in the band and recorded that, for 15 years or however long.
Right.
So we do some Soulfly songs, and I really want to do Static X, but they're active, so we can't do that. But we do a Prong song because Tony was in Prong. We do like Sepultura. We do some really cool, everything that's associated kind of with like the guys in the band,
Right.
And then also classics, and then we do have a few originals. Then we have a ton recorded, like demos, not recorded, but demos. We have 3 in the can. Basically one is the one we just released, Hail the Horns, which is the first track.
Right.
And then we have 2 other ones coming soon, originals. So they're already recorded. Yeah.
But tell me, cause like right before you, I know I'm going to murder his name, but being from Connecticut and all, Miljenko from Steelheart, lead singer.
Oh yeah.
I just did one with him, and when I saw that you had that Bullet Boys drum head, I'm like,
oh yeah,
that's kind of crazy that that's two completely different genres.
Oh yeah. Well, to me, it was just an experience. I learned from the best that you should always, unless it's completely not going to help you, you should always say yes. And then if you, for some reason you can't do it, then for some real reason, then you just don't do it. But
right.
it was a weird thing where they one of the guys in the band that located to Hollywood, LA, was from Connecticut and just remembered my old project and Gargantua Soul, and did really, really well in the 90s and the early 2000s. And so when you went there, they needed I guess the drummer couldn't do it, and they were playing Laconia Bike Week, which was on the East Coast on New Hampshire.
Right.
And there was a few dates they were going to book around it. And so he's like, well, let's just fly in and we'll get a drummer from that area to fill in and play and do the tour. And so the first person that Nick, the guy who played from Bill Boys, thought of was me. So I just got the call out of the blue. He's like, the singer called me, Mark Torn. He's like, yo, I heard, you want to be a Bullet Boy for a week, And I was like, all right, it's so weird, it's funny as hell. But that was cool. I mean, the experiences that you get, you can't, like, I play with Bumblefoot. I mean, Frankie Bello, John Bush, because of these cats, David Ellison got hooked at all that. Was always jamming with these guys.
Right.
So, a lot of credit to him and Chris Poland and Steve from Flotsam and Jetsam and all these cats,
Haven't heard that
dude, Daryl D from Run DMC, man.
Really?
I played, this video footage on YouTube with it's tricky metal. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's sick, man. It's just been a wild roller coaster, 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. It's just the way it is. And it's not like I'm doing pop and I'm not like 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been around the block. So it is what it is. I'm still grinding, and I'm still doing everything I got to do to stay up,
Mm-hmm. Are you having fun?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's all that matters. I mean,
yeah. I mean, well, you got to make a living too. I got somehow, you can't be. I'm not greedy. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be Paris. What's her name there? Paris.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make any millions and millions. I mean, hey, if it comes naturally, great. But that's not. I know what I'm in. I know what business I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm a realist.
Yeah, and I've talked to quite a few musicians about that, where a lot of people don't realize that it's a job. It's a livelihood.
It's a grind, because you're always, especially if you're away, you have a family and stuff, and you actually care about your family. You know what I mean? Like it's tough, and but it's everyone needs to have a cross to bear, I guess, in a sense. And every job is there's aspects of it that aren't great, no matter what job you have.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love what you do, I guess, and be willing to sacrifice that, those things that go along with it sometimes. And I'm not, right now I've been doing it forever, and I've only missed one tour my whole entire career, due to health issues that were turned around. And I actually was able to turn everything around for the better. And it, made my life completely different. And then from there, this, more success came just naturally, I think.
Right.
That's a whole nother story,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all have those. But yeah, I mean, this is a hobby for me. I mean, I would love to turn it into a profession, and
of course,
but I don't have any journalism background or any media background. I'm 46 years old. I just started doing this, but since I was, yay tall, I've loved music, and
cool.
I've always just retained, information about it, whatever. And this is my way of being able to get that expression out, as talk to you guys like you and everybody else that I talk to, I mean, guys that have been out there.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, guys that have been out there doing it, guys that, know the ins and outs of the business, that, they've been high and low, like you said, and it's great to actually, hear their stories. I mean, actually, Shauna, and I posted this on my Facebook. She messaged me through Messenger and said, did you do the interview? It was with another one of her bands. And I was like, yeah, I got all four of them together. It was, a good interview, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, are you having fun, with all this? And I was, or with all something like that. Anyways, I was like, time of my life. And she's like, that's awesome, and I was like, yeah, just keep them coming. She's like, oh, I got plenty more for you. So
Cool. Yeah.
and I'm working with some other ones. I mean, it's been fun, man. I mean, I really enjoyed.
Who have you done so far?
I mean, a lot of the bands, like since you're over there, I did Huxley from New Jersey. Most of them are independents.
Yeah.
If you go on my YouTube, it's Maddie76. I've got pretty much all of it on there that I've done. I've done Adelaida's Way. I just did Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin, Tommy Vex.
Nice.
So I mean, those are the bigger ones.
Nice.
But most of the bands I do, like I said, are independent bands, and
cool.
I love talking to them because I mean they've got that hunger.
Yeah. Well, I've always say that music is either in your blood or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone has a fire that burns, and sometimes it goes down and sometimes it goes really far up, but it's when it goes out, it's when is an issue. And
right.
Mine has never gone out yet. So I still have that, lantern fire burning. And I think I always will until I literally physically can't do it anymore. I think that's like, and that's how I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is,
So you were talking about Kiss is your favorite band.
No. My favorite band is Black Sabbath.
Okay, you was kind of. I'm
They're
sorry.
Kiss is the reason why I play in the band.
Okay, Black Sabbath.
What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Musically, they're okay. They're catchy. I like them. They're like the Beatles to me.
Right.
Like the early Beatles. I mean, just like poppy, catchy rock songs. It's cool and everything. But what changed my life was Black Sabbath.
Right.
What I'm saying? And that's why I play it. I don't know if you know what else I do, but I actually tour internationally, not nationally, internationally, and to big audiences with a Black Sabbath tribute band called Earth that I play in. Which was their first name. And we did this is the fourth tour, or third or fourth tour, probably fourth tour, in Europe. And we're doing it again in September. It's Lords of the Earth tour every September. And it's Earth Black Sabbath Tribute USA. If you go to Earth Black Sabbath Tribute USA.com, there's a whole thing about it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
We actually opened the premiere of the End Black Sabbath movie.
Mm-hmm.
And our singer looks like a lot like him. He sings really spot on. He really sells it. He's an amazing front guy, and the band's really good. And yeah, it's really cool. It's fun, but that's why. I mean, I think I sat up one night when I was in my late, I don't even know, in my teens,
mm-hmm.
and I ate mescaline. And I don't normally do anything like that. And that was it was a bad mistake. And I sat up all night, sitting in a wooden chair with a blanket, staring at a Black Sabbath documentary. And I think it brainwashed me. Yeah. And from then on, that was my favorite band ever. But it was awesome. And so, yeah, but it's so heavy, and it was cooler than everybody else. They talked about weed. They talked about religion. They talked about just having fun, and it was just a good music. And so, so that really influenced me, and that's always stuck with me. You know what I mean? So, that's why I do what I do, and it's also fun to play. It's not as hard as the metal stuff that I do physically, but also it's like an ode to a band that you can't see anymore. And I make a little money off it. I have fun, and I actually make a little, and it's growing. We're playing the Foxwoods Casino July 11th with that. We're doing the European tour. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. There's some good stuff. We play the Harvest Fest every year in New York. the big New York Harvest Festival. It's a cool venture because it's, everyone knows the music, kids, and it's like Kiss. Now people are bringing their kids. The parents are bringing the kids to these shows.
Right.
There was so many people there, young and old. I brought my kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's 8 years old. I brought Orion, my boy, named after the Metallica song.
Nice.
And the Constellation. But yeah,
I love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite album, Master of Puppets.
That's my favorite album.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Dude, I swear to God, I always talk about how if there was if you could only pick one album from bands that are like that, like iconic bands like Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Metallica, if you could only pick one album, I bet you. So for me, Metallica, it would be Master of Puppets from front to back. The production's amazing. The songs, everything about it. Even though Ride the Lightning is right there with it, and I respect Kill 'Em All, but the Master of Puppets is their pinnacle as far as I was concerned.
Yes.
And I played in a tribute band called Alcoholica for a while too. That we actually doing another one more show in October, but it was fun. But it's just a lot. 2 hours of old school Metallica. It's a lot. But anyway, and people, and Lars was right. Damn it, Lars was right. He was right all along. Everyone could talk shit about Lars, but he was right. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so where was I? I got off the topic there.
Just talking about different where you could pick favorite.
Yeah, the albums. Okay, so for me, like Black Sabbath, I would have to say Master of Reality, or it would have to be Master of Reality, I think, or maybe Volume 4 is pretty good too. I would have a hard time with this one. But for Metallica, definitely Master of Puppets. For AC/DC, I know I'm going to get shit for this, but I think Back in Black. Pink Floyd, a lot of people say Dark Side of the Moon. I really think The Wall is pretty epic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's so many different things you could go with that, but that's pretty much for like the bigger bands. Those are my. Oh, for solo Ozzy, everyone would say Blizzard of Oz, but I have to say Diary of a Madman.
Okay.
Again, Diary of a Madman to me is like Metallica's Master of Puppets. It's like epic production, epic songwriting, the pinnacle of their playing. Just Dun, 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 boom, boom. It's like that's just fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're kind of on the same page here. I'm going to say with AC/DC, mine is. I'm going to stick with Back in Black. I really like that one. But like Highway to Hell.
That's a good fucking song.
Master of Reality, but I might get shit for this. Heaven and Hell.
Well, I mean, yeah, to me, that's a different band.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
kind of like Van Hagar.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
You couldn't have asked for a better singer in Black Sabbath than Ronnie James Dio.
I'm not dissing Dio. Although I do. I mean, it's like apples and oranges, though. It's the same thing with even John Bush's Anthrax and Joey Belladonna's Anthrax. It's two different things.
Oh yeah.
Like people argue overall what's better. It's almost like doing the Metallica Megadeth thing. You can't really do it. I mean, they're both fucking great for their own reasons.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And man, Pink Floyd, that would be a hard one.
That's tough.
I really like the Wall, but honestly, I think the last one they made, Division Bell, I really liked.
Yeah.
I actually went and seen I seen that tour back in 1994, and man, phenomenal. I was blown away. But I mean, of course, they were doing all the classics too. Comfortably Numb, Wish You Were Here, The Wall.
Yeah. Dark Side of the Moon is damn good too, man. It's short. It's short, but it's really good.
Yeah, we can definitely not say that about Master of Puppets. That was not short. Every song on that thing was at least 8 minutes long.
but it's definitely just, I mean, they're all great, but it's definitely just like they should have kept that tonality from that point on.
Right.
Like even Justice for All, it was great for what it was, but you could tell the songs were way too long. You could tell they're being technical just for the sake of being technical. Even though it was still great, but it was pieced together. And the muffled tone, it was on purpose and it was cool. It made it unique. It did make it unique, the tonality of it, but it was very muffled. In hindsight, if you actually listen to it, it's very muffled and odd, and there's no bass, and that's fine. It gives it its own character, and I still love it. I still fucking love it. But I'm just saying, Master of Puppets, and even before that, Ride the Lightning, it was just like that tone,
Yeah, and I mean, when you said Ozzy, you went Diary of Madman. I would have to go No Rest for the Wicked.
Really?
Loved that album.
Crazy Babies over Suicide Solution, man.
Yes, man. Breaking All the Rules. I mean,
that's a great song. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was.
Is Killer of Giants on that?
Yes. No. Yeah, I think so.
Killer of Giants. That's a great song.
What was the one? What's the one? Not Fire in the Sky.
That's a great song. Yeah, you're right. But that's Zach, early Zach.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Early Zach's awesome. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his solo thing in Black Label. It's all right. I'm not, but people love that stuff. But I like him in Ozzy, and I love his Zach Sabbath thing, man.
Yeah.
Dude, like, talk about a kick-ass tribute to Sabbath. That fucking thing, I was like blown away by that. He sings and plays guitar. He's fucking Ozzy, and there's a Sabbath riff, all the Sabbath riffs, and he sings like Ozzy. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I was a Jake Lee fan. I like the Ultimate Sin too.
They're awesome. Yeah, those are all great.
I can't really think of an Ozzy.
I'm talking about classic with like Randy, because Randy to me was just it was like, for me, Alex Van Halen, not Alex, Eddie Van Halen and Randy are like my two top guitar players from back in the day.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't say all time, but from back in the day, because nowadays there's amazing players out there right now. I mean, there's so many amazing fucking players.
I'm gonna have to go with a Bay Metal band, Alex Skolnick from Testament.
Alex is great, man. Yeah.
I love his technical ability and everything. I mean, the dude is just phenomenal. And I think, honestly, the Ritual was a really good showcase of that. Like songs, Return to Serenity and what was Electric Crown. I mean, dude, Testament's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they've been around as long, and they should be part of the Big Four, as far as I'm concerned. They should make a Big Five and throw Testament in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm talking about people that influence me. Like even Tony Iommi. Like I fucking love them as a band. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge Tony Iommi fan, but I was always a Randy fan, and I was always a Eddie Van Halen fan. Like as far as guitar players back in the day, bands. I'm talking about, back in 1929 when we were young, boss.
Tony cut the tips of his fingers off in an industrial accident, right?
Yeah. Crazy. That's what gave him his tone.
Right. That in itself is amazing because he has no feeling.
Yeah.
So, and I mean that's all part of it.
Yeah, that's part of his whole shtick.
Now,
that's cool, man.
being a Sabbath fan and being a drummer, I mean, you got to love Bill Ward.
Man, he is the most underrated drummer of all time, I think. Is everyone I love John Bonham. I learned a shit ton from John Bonham. I'm not gonna lie. I listened to Zeppelin over and over and over again just because his beats were amazing and they were groovy and they're fucking give props where props is due. And I always thought he was better than Bill Ward. But then I started learning Bill Ward for my Black Sabbath tribute band. And once I started, it's the same thing with Megadeth. Like I was always, back in the day, you have your rivalry from Metallica and Megadeth, and you had to pick. And I was always Metallica, because technically their riffs are, it's not so much of a run-on sentence. The vocals are a little less annoying, and they know how to write hooks, both musically and lyrically. And their production was always better because they had a bigger budget and stuff like that. So they had the advantage and the one up, and they actually got really big fast and they blew up and everything. So Megadeth always was like in the shadows. But like again, when I started playing with Ellison, I started having to learn the old school Megadeth. Now the recordings aren't that great, so you can't really hear what the drummer's doing 100% compared to like the clarity of like Master of Puppets, stuff like that. But I was able to figure it out, and I would watch videos of some of the drummers doing it live and blah, blah, blah. And so once I started learning the style, I'm like, wow, I realized Megadeth technically is way better than Metallica. Technically. Like, it's like jazzy mixed in with like some like, metal jazz fusion. Like Chris Poland was amazing guitar player. All that stuff. And the early stuff was like very rhythmic and sometimes off time and a lot of changes. And it was, it's definitely the production wasn't as good. So you don't really notice it. But when you start to actually listen to it, you realize that as musicians, they blow away Metallica. But Metallica can write, but they're amazing too. But in the end, they can write better hooks and more marketable riffage and stuff like that. So in it's like, again, apples and oranges. So the same thing with Bill Ward and John Bonham. Like Bill Ward, once I started learning some of the stuff that Bill Ward was playing, I'm like, damn, this guy is either amazing or he's just a manic mess on cocaine. And no one could ever duplicate it. Like I get as close as possible. I do the best I can. And parts that I know I have to know because that are like very like I guess the word important for the song or to I learn them exact, but like I'm still like 78, 81% there. And because I do it so close, it's not really noticeable to most people, maybe some like drum nerds or something, but yeah, I mean,